Welcome to the Walk-Thru, powered by Triple F Elite Sports Training, your weekly update on everything high school football. Jesse, Paige, and the rest of the 5-star preps team will break down the biggest matchups, the biggest teams, and get you Friday night ready. Now, sit back, relax, and get ready. This is the Walk-Thru.
From overtime thrillers to early season statement wins, Week 1 gave us incredible first impressions, from the players who caught our attentions to the teams that look as good as advertised and who we're watching for in Week 2. Plus, coming up later in the show, we'll hear from David Thomas, a Tennessee target. I'm Paige Dower alongside Jesse Smithy, and this is the Walk-Thru. Jesse, thank you so much for holding it down in Week 1.
We missed you. I like having a co-host up here. I told Jared, our producer, when we got done, I was like, I don't like talking that much. I was just pounding water, and I like having somebody to bounce ideas off of, and we both have kind of different takes and an energy that we put into this show, and I feel like we complement each other well. So I'm glad to have you back, ready to talk a lot of Week 2 football, but definitely glad to be back at Triple F. They have a new location.
Yes.
They're going to open up in Blount County very, very soon. More details are coming out about that. Lee Smith, the owner of Triple F, put out a video on Instagram the other day about the new location out in Maryville, I believe. So I think we might even actually tape a few shows out there.
That'd be fun.
Is that a long drive for you to Blount
I'll
County?
make it work.
We'll make it
Yes.
work. But just an unbelievable growth opportunity for Triple F. And again, they continue to invest in high school athletes and athletes of all ages in East Tennessee, adults, kids that are my son's age and my daughter's age. They'll take all comers and train them and bring them up the right way. They got the Bible study here on Monday night, a lot of pizza going on in there. So I was actually told, and we were here from the early stages of this Bible study,
Yes.
when it was only, 5 to 10 kids?
Just a few, yeah.
A week ago, they had over 40.
Wow.
So it's growing, and that's awesome to see, people walk with Christ and their relationship and to learn about kids and their lives from other schools. I mean, not all these kids here go to the same school, so they're learning about people in other communities who might be going through some of the same things that they're going through. So it's all good here at Triple F, and I'm so happy that they're sponsoring. They're our Player of the Week sponsor this year as well. So doing more things with us, and that's always exciting.
Yeah, it's always exciting to be here inside Triple F. I love fall, but being here talking about high school football inside Triple F is certainly a bright spot to every week. And I know we have a lot to get into, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on what happened in Week 1 and what you are going to, or who you're going to be picking here in Week 2.
I want to before you get going though, I got to hear about everything that's going on. You went to Africa this summer and Iceland. I want to hear about some of these trips.
Yeah, I tried to squeeze in all of my vacations into like a 2-week period because Tennessee football certainly keeps us all busy, but it was truly a life-changing type of trip to go on safaris in Africa, to travel the whole country of Iceland and to see the way that they live, to see different landscapes, and truly breathtaking. Iceland is otherworldly, and Africa, getting to see a lion as close as you are to me, is kind of insane.
Unbelievable. And I've known some people that have gone to Africa. They said similar things. I'll have to YouTube some stuff from Iceland though. I'm not familiar with what's up there.
You should. I mean, I just posted a TikTok. I know we're friends on TikTok. You
Yeah,
can watch that one. It was pretty incredible.
You got Tennessee stuff coming up though.
Yes.
I mean, I know you're very, very busy this time of the year. Kind of let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, I cover Tennessee athletics. Right now we're talking about Tennessee football as we are in the season to do so. You can follow me on my Facebook page, Paige Dower FDP, or our main channel on YouTube, Full Disclosure Pro. So stay tuned with all things Tennessee, 5starpreps.com for all things high school football. And together, I think we'll have you pretty covered.
And I actually have a lot of friends who watch your show on Twitter, and they tell me how great of a job that you're doing and love the insight and the content on there. So invite everybody to follow along with you in the fall for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Okay,
Absolutely.
Let's look at Week 1, the great first impressions that we had. When you can kind of take a zoomed out macro view of Week 1, where are you most surprised or impressed with what we saw?
Well, you had the Battle of Blount County, the Battle of Pistol Creek, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I think Thursday night's game with Powell and Anderson County set the tone for the entire week. That game is always entertaining. It's always touchdown field.
Yes.
And it was this time. I think 100 combined points, over 1,000 yards of offense, 150 combined plays. That game almost took 4 hours to complete.
That's insane.
And even though Anderson County turned the ball over 5 times in that football game, they're right there in the fourth quarter with opportunities to either close the gap or get within one score. And so they hung around. And I think that's going to serve them well later on. And we wrote many times on 5starpreps.com, do not judge Anderson County by what they look like in week 1 or week 2. They got Catholic coming up this week. They're probably going to take losses in those games just because those teams have a ton of talent and return more people than Anderson County did. Anderson County's breaking in a lot of new starters. But by week 5, week 6, I think is a really accurate look at what the Mavericks will look like. So just hang in there with AC. I think they're going to be just fine.
A little bit more on Powell, of course, winning that game 56-44. Did it change your expectations for what they might be able to do this season in the first week? Impressions?
Expectations were they were going to play 2 quarterbacks all throughout the preseason 7-on-7 scrimmages. They were rotating Jalen Benjamin, who transferred from Clinton over to Powell High School, and then an all-purpose athlete, Brody Hollowell, who was a defensive back star at Powell for the last few years, and he still is. But he was kind of the backup quarterback just in case Deuce Rogers got hurt last year, and he actually did get hurt, and then Brody came in and led them to a win over Farragut. So they have different approaches to the quarterback position, and you saw Jalen Benjamin just take the reins of that offense from the first quarter, throw bombs, touchdowns, and they're like, okay, I guess this, I mean, stay with the hot hand. There's no need to force Brody in there to see what you can do. Brody's back there playing defense and getting interceptions. He got 2 in that game. So Jalen Benjamin right now, I think, is the firm leader at QB, but for whatever reason, if he does have an off night, I mean, they can put Brody in there and see if he can kind of change the pace and the rhythm of that game and get the favor back in Powell's direction. But that was my big take on that game, was just Jalen Benjamin throwing for over 300 yards. He had a 60, 70-yard touchdown run in that game as well. Really looked good.
Then Thursday night and Saturday night, we were in for a treat for both of those, especially on Saturday when you all hosted a live stream for the Sevier County Farragut game. First, I hope we see more of that. It was quite entertaining.
It was fun, yeah. That's the first time I'd ever done, been up in the booth. I've done sideline work before, but never been calling color analyst work, and that was a different part of my career that I'd never really done before, and we made it work.
Yeah, you did. And if you did miss it, go back on the Twitter page, find it, because you certainly missed out on what was a really exciting game. And I think when we talk about Sevier County, you're going to hear the same couple of names every time. When you see what they were able to do against Farragut, I think it was a 35-7 win. What stood out to you with what they were able to do?
Just the enhancements of their offensive line, their defensive line. That's what I really wanted to see, because in their championship year of 2024, their offensive line was very dominant. Yeah, Cooper Newman did great and Parker Newman did great, but their offensive line was legit. And not that last year's was bad, it was serviceable, but there were some smaller guys in certain spots, but this year's looked kind of bulked up more, looked bigger, and looked more like a 5A championship caliber offensive line. Defensive line got a transfer from Gatlinburg-Pittman and Elijah Valentine. He made an impact in that game Saturday night. So there were some new pieces in place for Sevier County. That's what our eyes were on, but Cooper Newman said, no, watch me. Parker Newman said, no, watch me. We're going to throw these touchdown passes and make everybody pay attention to us. And of course, Cooper Newman got our MVP chain again for the 2nd year in a row. But going forward with the Sevier County team, I want to see the run game pop off a little harder. It was okay on Saturday, but with Braden Maples transferring in from Gatlinburg-Pittman, he had back-to-back 1,200-yard years. I guess in my mind, I thought, man, maybe they were going to try to really establish him and he's going to have 100 to 150 yards. But it just wasn't that type of night. So opportunity for them in week 2 against Jefferson County to really get that run game going.
Was there a bright spot for Farragut in this game? I know they're trying to continue their rebuild. Was the lack of a run game from Sevier County more about what Farragut was doing or what Sevier County was getting in their own way?
Farragut's always done well defensively. They've always had great linebacker play, and we saw that come into play at certain times Saturday night. Farragut, though, you're talking about a drastic change in offensive philosophies. We all know about the players that transferred out of there. And again, I credit Jeff Courtney for changing. And I've said this, I used to say this about Vanderbilt when Vanderbilt was in the cellar of the SEC and you're running an offense that everybody in the SEC is running. You're not getting the same caliber players as Alabama and Tennessee and whatnot. Why not run what Georgia Tech was running, a triple option? Be that pain in the butt that nobody wants to face, because nobody ever sees a triple option offense or a wing tee or a split back veer or whatever. Do something different. Because your talent against Alabama's talent in the same offense just isn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
So right now, Farragut's a little undersized on the offensive line. They, their talent left and went to other schools. So muddy up the waters a little bit. Run that kind of run. They only threw 2 passes Saturday. It's
Wow.
all run all the time. It's about
Yeah.
keeping games low scoring, converting first downs, keep the clock running in Farragut's favor, and there's some growing pains. There were times where you could see a little bit of a flash that, okay, that was a nice run, something to build off of, but in the long term, these next few weeks, Farragut's really got to make some big improvements, and I think they'll get there.
The other 2 games to mention here too is CAK hanging, I think it was 47 on Concord. You had 57, I think it was 57. Let's check notes. Yeah, 57. And then, of course, Catholic beating Riverdale.
Yeah, a lot of games on Saturday, and that CAK game was a day game, 11 o'clock kickoff, and it was a good game at the half, 29-20. And Seton Moffitt really took control in the second half. Quarterback at CAK, he had a fantastic game throwing the football, running the football. And I think CAK has a sneaky good star at running back. So keep an eye on him. We're going to talk about them a little bit more later in the show. They got a big game against Heritage, who put up 63 points. So we might get 200 points in that game, Paige. I don't know. We'll see. But a nice win by CAK to open up the season. And then, as you mentioned, Saturday night, Catholic had a monster matchup against Riverdale, a team that got 9 transfers in the offseason.
Insane.
A lot of guys going to Mississippi State. And Coach Shad told us this is going to be like facing a Baylor or Macaulay, just the amount of talent they had. And David Thomas, the star wide receiver who just transferred into Knoxville, we'll talk about with him later in the show. He had a big fourth quarter and led them to a comeback win. So big shout out to Catholic for getting that win.
Yeah, no better way to make your statement and your print on Tennessee than to do what he did in his first game. It's funny, in our notes as we were getting ready for this show, you often give some details about some games, some players, but for DDG, the Tennessee quiet commit, it was just mania, which is what you described him as. What stood out to you about the viral plays he was making last week?
Anything he does is now clipped and put on social media instantly.
Yes.
And Paige, I can't remember somebody in Tennessee moving the needle like David Gabriel George does. And I said last year I took myself, a photographer and a videographer, to go down in late October when meaningful football is being played in Tennessee up in our area. I said, hey, let's go down and see this guy. And he didn't disappoint. And people are watching him on ESPN. They're going down personally to the Baylor campus. You got Peyton Manning telling stories about DGG. So I just can't remember a player in this state who has, again, created such mania around everything that he does. He's having to put out statements to, like, stop social media feuds going on. I mean, it is absolutely wild. And he handles it like a champ. He's very even-keeled. And I got a chance to talk with him at Mr. Football and love that opportunity and can't wait to see what he does this year. But it is absolute hysteria in Tennessee high school football around everything that young man does.
I mean, and it makes sense. The plays that he has to make really after the point of contact is insane. The way that he spins out of these would-be tackles, carrying, 5-6 guys with him, 20+ yards. It's truly incredible, and I'm wondering from your vantage point of the years that you've covered high school football, Tennessee football, you talk about moving the needle. Is it those types of moves and viral clips that you think is moving the needle, or like where does he rank in this hysteria?
Yeah, it's everything. It's his physical frame right now. He looks like a college junior.
He's huge.
Some running backs come out of high school, like you take Deshaun Bishop. In high school, he looked pretty good. I mean, he was well built. What he looks like now is incredible.
He would eat what he looked like then.
I hate to think what David Gabriel George is going to look like as a college running back after a year or two at Tennessee. And because he's already
especially if Derek Owings is still there at Tennessee. My goodness.
So it's his physique, what he's able to do with his run. And I tell people, you might watch him on film and think, oh, he doesn't have breakaway speed. You're wrong.
Yes.
When you watch him in person, it's different. It's very much like when Derrick Henry runs. You just see this mass, and you think he's not running that fast, but he is.
Yeah,
and
the train's coming.
It's the same thing with David Gabriel George. So Jalen Hurd, that used to play at Tennessee, those are the two in my time covering high school football in Tennessee that had people talking.
Wow. And I think the tie to Deshaun Bishop, too, is I think he's the first 1,000-yard returner for Tennessee since Hurd back in the early 2010s, I think it was. Yeah, so good company for DDG to be in, and he just, or DGG, and he just isn't even on campus, or who knows what he'll do in a short while. Back to our area teams, of course, it's Oak Ridge, it's Halls. That's always a good matchup. We talked about the overtime thrillers at the beginning of the show. This is another overtime thriller. I know we have a couple of things to talk about with this matchup as it pertains to injury, but Malik Howard was certainly somebody who showed up big in that game. We'll talk more about him in a minute, but when you look at Oak Ridge and what they're able to do in that close overtime game, what impresses you?
Just the will to win. I mean, they got down in overtime and they knew they needed the touchdown to win that football game, and they got it. And they did it with a backup quarterback in that game, and with Malik Howard in and out of the game. And so it was some difficulty, and Oak Ridge has faced difficulty the last few years with injuries, whether it's Demillion Porter or whether it's their wide receivers, and it's just, man, they can't get the stars aligned right now at Oak Ridge. Maybe that happens later in the year for them, but I had a reporter at that game, and it was just like, Malik Howard's out of the game. Jarrell Chandler's out of the game for Halls. Yeah. Jarrell Chandler's back to the game. Jarrell Chandler's back out of the game. Malik Howard's in the game, out of the game. And then the Oak Ridge quarterback, Brody Sparks, who transferred from Carter, I don't think he was able to finish that game. I think he was on crutches. So the status of a lot of these star players are kind of up in the air going into week 2, and that includes Thomas Manu, the star quarterback at Alcoa, who Paige, 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He's running. He gets hit out of bounds, kind of crashes into the stadium over there. He's laying over the Alcoa players to run over there. I mean, that's their guy. That's their dude. That's their leader, and they're scared to death that something's really bad with him. He's able to get up and get over to the sideline with some help, but stitches in his knee.
Wow. He
doesn't play the remainder of the fourth quarter, doesn't play the first overtime, doesn't play the second overtime. They need that 2-point conversion to win, and he comes in, and it's a storybook ending. And is able to scramble around. You're going, oh my gosh, their stitch is going to hold, and he's scrambling around and throws it into the back of the end zone for the 2-point conversion. So that game's going to be talked about for quite some time, the heroics of Thomas Manu. But there are a number of stars in East Tennessee who got dinged up in week 1, and that's not what you want to see.
No, we'll certainly talk about Maryville and Alcoa in just a second, but I guess, you were mentioning with the Halls and Oak Ridge game, don't know maybe the status of what those injuries will be on the side. Malik Howard, all of those not really coming back into the game.
Yeah.
Do we think that they're coming back in week 2? Are they significant enough that you think?
I think Malik Howard's is manageable, and I think he's going to be for the next few weeks just based on opponent.
Okay.
Can we win with just limited reps from Malik Howard? Possibly. Okay, let's try that out. And if we need him in the fourth quarter, you might see him a little bit more. In terms of Brody Sparks, I mean, I'm just kind of assuming here based off of having to leave the game on crutches.
Yeah.
I think he might be out for a little bit, and we'll see. But I got good reports from their backup quarterback. I mean, he seemed to do well and handle the moment well. Delivering in the clutch is only going to build his confidence as he faces some tough moments in these next few weeks. But yeah, it's just another tough break for Oak Ridge.
You alluded to it a moment ago. I really want to talk about Maryville and Alcoa because it's a game that never disappoints, and this 2026 matchup certainly was not the exception.
Yeah.
You talked about the late hit, the late game heroics. I want to know where it ranks for you as far as finishes, but first what you saw unfolding as Thomas Manu was hit way out of bounds.
Yeah, I was on the opposite sideline when it happened, but you could tell it was deep into the sideline when that happened. And what's crazy is a play or two earlier, the same kind of thing happened. It just wasn't as deep on that sideline. And so I remember on that play being worried about Thomas. Thomas isn't a guy who scrambles or has had to scramble a lot.
No.
And so I think he ran the ball 3 consecutive times during that span of that time frame of the game. So they still managed to score on that drive. They went up 28-14, and I just remember at that point thinking 8 minutes left, Alcoa defense, this game's over.
Right.
And so I had other responsibilities that night, and so I left. I had some reporters there. Don't worry, we took
I was like,
people in place.
Move, Jesse.
But as I was listening on the way home, I'm like, oh wow, things are happening. And Will Jones was happening, the quarterback at Maryville, who desperately wanted to end his high school career as a senior with a win over Alcoa during his senior year, and he almost made it happen.
Almost.
He played unbelievably all night long. And look, when you start talking about the greatest games ever played, I've seen a lot of great Maryville-Alcoa games. I'd really have to put my mind to it, go back through the history books. For the most part, that game for 3.5 quarters was just kind of, it wasn't boring, but it's just like Alcoa.
Didn't have the splash plays you're looking
methodical
for, maybe.
drive,
Yeah.
inside the 10, Micah Jones, 5-yard touchdown, 10-yard touchdown. And then Maryville would come back with a long drive and try to get it close, and they would score. there just weren't like the mind-bending plays, but then that overtime makes it so memorable. And there's so many people say, that's the greatest game I've ever seen. And I'm like, I want to be like, all right, calm down, you just saw it. But they're right.
Maybe
It's
the greatest
definitely
finish,
one
maybe,
up there,
yeah.
But I don't know where it ranks all time in that series. I've seen some really good games out of it.
How storybook ending is it, though, to have Thomas Manu get the walk-off touchdown, though?
Yeah, and we had him out here on the program, and he's just, again, so even-keeled, level-headed, and Will Jones is the same way.
Yeah.
That's why they're able to thrive in those moments when your heart rate goes up and you feel it in your body. When you can keep your cool and go through the process and go through your reads and not panic, you can find that guy when he's not maybe your primary target.
Yeah.
When the play happens. And Thomas Manu is able to do that. Will Jones is able to do that. Cooper Newman's able to do that. Caden Long's able to do that. We have elite quarterbacks in East Tennessee. But yeah, Thomas Manu, you talk to him after the game and he's just, you never know that he just delivered that type of play, and that's just kind of the guy he is.
Yeah, we'll talk about Caden Long later, too. But speaking of the quarterback and Thomas Manu, we caught up with him after the game, and this is what he had to say about that matchup.
All right, here with Alcoa quarterback Thomas Manu, got his second MVP in 2 times here at the Battle of Pistol Creek. Just Thomas, what are the emotions right now after taking this game?
Man, my emotions are super high right now. I'm super blessed to be here, and I can't explain this feeling.
What was working so well for you early offensively? A couple surgical drives there, super efficient.
Really just taking what they gave us, I mean, they're playing too high, and then they're starting to play cover 4, and they were dropping everybody. We just had to take what they gave us, just quick hitches. It was just easy yardage.
And then obviously the story a lot of people will take from tonight is when you ran and hit into the bricks there and obviously got stitched up on the sideline. Walk me through what it was like going out hurt and then coming back to throw the 2-point conversion.
Man, it really sucked. I didn't think I was going to be able to come back in. It just really sucked, and it made me really emotional. And then getting to hear that I could come back in, it meant everything. And I was just telling myself I could do this.
What was the conversation to come back in?
They didn't really have a conversation with me, but he was just like, "Are you good?" And I was like, "Coach, I'm good."
And then that 2-point conversion, what was the play? And walk me through what you saw.
It was really just like a back dig concept. And, my first look was Shamir. He wasn't there. I had to get out of the pocket, put my arm out, and then saw Haynes in the back of the end zone and just threw it up.
What was the celebration like after?
Man, it was an unreal feeling.
And then Haynes was big for y'all tonight, especially in that first half, too. Just what's it been like throwing to him?
Man, it's been great. Our chemistry that's built up over just the past 2 seasons, it's been phenomenal.
I know your goals are bigger than just winning this game. How can you snowball this into success later in the year, too?
Just the hurt, get back right. Go to therapy, just heal up over the weekend, heal up during the week, hydrate, just get better.
Awesome.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Coop, I know this award, much like your MVP chain last year, is probably the most beloved part of your trophy case at home, even above Mr. Football. Just how much were you on the MVP chain tonight?
Oh, I'm gonna wear it the whole way home. I have the other one in my room still hanging up, so maybe I can wear both of them or something next time. But no, I'm super blessed. The guys played great tonight. They had a great plan on the defensive side of the ball, and we were able to work around that a little bit. I know there's some familiarities, like our coach, our defense coordinator, his sons are coached off area, so they kind of know what we do, we know what they do. So we came out and got the job done tonight.
Connected on a home run play, second play, 70 yards down to Parker. Just how good was that to see that connection pay off? I mean, that's probably going to be a play y'all talk about when you're old, and just starting off your senior year that way was huge.
It's super exciting because, like I said, there's a lot of talk between me and him going into this year, and to set the tempo very early like we did, I think that's very good. He had another touchdown later on. He's a great player for us offensively and defensively. And not just him, but there was guys step up all across the board tonight, and that's what I'm super proud about.
To look at what this offense could be, say come by week 7, week 8, What do you feel like has to happen between now and, say, the October weeks for it to be at peak form?
Yeah, I think that's just like staying locked in practice and everything like that, because like I said, there was a couple of drives in the second quarter I kind of wish we had back and kind of stalled out a little bit, but it happens. It's the first game of the year. Just happy to be back out here, and like I said, if we keep working hard, then we can be great.
Was there any kind of eagerness to get going? Because everybody's playing on Thursday night, Friday night. You're kind of having to sit around till Saturday.
Very much so. I was telling you that last year. I was sitting back at home, even last night, watching that Maryville-Alcoa game, and it's like, man, I really wish I was playing football right now. But to get out here and play our first game, and now all the jitters and stuff are out, so to speak, we're ready to go.
And to look ahead to next week, I know a tough opponent in Jefferson County. What are you going to see out of them, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, very physical team. I mean, we've played them for the last couple of years, very well coached, and they're going to have athletes across the board, and we're going to have to go and get on work.
Life moves fast, but no matter where you're headed, we've got you covered. We're here for all of life's first moments, getting the keys to your first home, building the foundation for your future, turning your big idea into something bigger, and having the freedom to enjoy it all. Because life never slows down, and neither do we. Wherever life takes you, bank on First Bank.
Welcome back into the Walk-Thru. Paige Dower alongside Jesse Smithy, and Cooper Newman is setting the bar high for who is going to wear the MVP chain later this season after performance where he caught 4 touchdowns. I'm kind of jealous I didn't see this chain in person, which I probably would have if I was here week 1, but that's a serious chain he's wearing.
I thought our MVP chain last year was awesome, and it was.
It was great.
We definitely leveled up this year. We had a spinning MVP chain, and now Cooper's got that 2 years in a row. He said he's going to wear it all the way home. I'll have to check with him, see if he actually
need to follow up.
But he's got his other one hanging up in his room, and now he's got 4 touchdowns in that game. But a little breaking news here. That's not the last spinning chain you're going to see this season.
Oh, okay.
First Bank has come in and said, man, we love the chain. We want to give one out every week.
Wow.
I have a box of MVP chains in my house. My wife's like, oh, can we get this box out of here? And it's just full of MVP chains. So every Friday night or Thursday night, whatever game we go to, we're going to have an MVP chain.
Wow.
So there will be a lot of spinners going on social media this year. So keep an eye out for that. That's going to be fun.
Maybe at the end, you can do like an early 2000s like rap video where they had all those big chains and spinning rims.
I'm down for it. But Sevier County won that game. They're state number 1 in the state rankings. Only them and Alcoa are number 1 in the state rankings. The Tennessee Sports Writers Association puts out those state rankings every single week. So Sevier County, Alcoa.
Well, I guess looking at those, who are you more confident in staying in that top position later in the season?
Yeah, I think both of them stay in it
really?
for
Okay.
quite some time. Paige right now is number 2. Remember, they played Paige in the state championship game in each of the last 2 years. I've had a guy that I know in Middle Tennessee that says Paige is down a little bit, so maybe, who knows, Paige suffers a loss, they drop down. But your Centrals of the world, your Powells of the world, keep an eye on them in the 5A state rankings. Other top 5 teams in the area, Coalfield, even though they lost a week 1 game, that was a really tough opponent. Sports Writers kept them at number 3 in 1A. Meigs County is a team I really like. They won in triple overtime on Friday night.
That's insane.
They are number 3 in 3A. Greenville number 3 in 4A. Powell 4 in 5A. Maryville stayed in the top 5 in Class 6A. Grace Christian at number 3 in Division 2 AA, and Catholic got that win over Riverdale. They're now number 5 in Division 2 AAA. So we put that out on the website every single Monday morning. Keep an eye out for it.
I'm curious, after listening to a couple of our area teams that are in those top rankings, is there a particular team that jumps out as you that might be too high or maybe just too low, or does it feel right to you?
Keep an eye on Gibbs.
Okay.
Gibbs is one of those teams that's other receiving votes. So, they're right there 11 or 12. They might pop through here in the bracket, or not in the bracket, but in the rankings later on this season.
Okay, we're going to transition now into our week 2 preview, which I love this part where we get warmed up and we're really going to get inside the mind of Jesse Smithy as the show continues. As these teams progress this season, I'm curious maybe where you'll stand in some of these matchups. First, we have to look at Anderson County at Catholic on Thursday, which I think that'll be a really interesting one. And I feel like a lot of these games has like a sense of revenge maybe on the table.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this first matchup.
Yeah, I don't know if, revenge will definitely be a factor in there. You look at Anderson County in this game, and J.D. Gillum probably has some bad memories of playing Catholic last year. This was the game where he was kind of dropping back and got hit, collarbone break in the second game of the season. Of course, he was out for another 5 weeks or so, and then came back and did really well and got Anderson County to the 3rd round of the playoffs. So this is a game for him to kind of put some bad memories behind, create new memories, kind of replace those. It's going to be tough. This is a really good Catholic team that's got Division I talent galore. We'll talk with David Thomas, the star wide receiver, coming up in the next segment. But the Catholic secondary has a guy going to Alabama. You got Brooks Johnston, who's got SEC offers all over the place. This is a really difficult test for an Anderson County team, but they're going to get better because of it.
When we look to our next matchup, it's Loudon at Lenore City. Loudon, of course, has won 7 straight. Does that continue into 8, or does Lenore City kind of change this around?
The fun part of this is now Rusty Bradley is a part of this matchup.
Okay.
The offensive-minded head coach who led CAK to state championships, put up great offensive numbers, did well at Grace Christian, went down to state, did well, came back and was a coordinator at Webb for a while, and now he's the head football coach at Lenore City. And really look forward to what he does with this, putting his fingerprints on that program. They had a big win in week 1. And Loudon coach Jeff Herrig knows all about Rusty Bradley and Rusty Bradley's system. Loudon and CAK used to be in the same region when Rusty had that team really rolling at CAK. So he knows full well what to expect, and it just adds a little spice to this rivalry. It's if you get a chance to go to the Battle of the Bridge, Loudon, Lenore City, it is electric, and we're going to be there Friday.
Of course you are. That's going to be a really good matchup. The next one that I want to talk about is Clinton at Oak Ridge. Of course, it's been a minute since I think it was Clinton walked away with victories. You have to go back to the 2023 playoffs, I believe. So what will it take for Clinton to stop Oak Ridge, potentially even their Tennessee tight end commit and Malik Howard?
They're not feeling sorry for Oak Ridge whatsoever. We talked about the injury issues that Oak Ridge had back in week 1. I think we're going to get a steady diet of DeMillion Porto, the running back from Oak Ridge, in this game. Again, trying to kill the clock, keep the momentum, keep everything in Oak Ridge's favor. Clinton put up a lot of numbers in week 1, had a loss to Heritage, but Mason Eckerson, the quarterback, really played well in that football game, put on a ton of numbers. But for them, they want to get the better of Oak Ridge. It's their rival, and it's going to be a heated atmosphere.
Yes, sure will. Then our next game is Fulton at Central. So Fulton hasn't won this game in a few matchups. What's allowed Central to truly maintain control of the series?
I just think you see two programs in different stages of their building, right?
Okay.
You remember Central last year, they were right there on the cusp of making it to the state semifinals. Their talent is up right now. Fulton is building its numbers back up. Justin Long, the head coach at Fulton, is doing a great job. He's the man for that job in that community. He played there. He was a coach there for so long. He's doing a great job of rebuilding Fulton. But you have two programs on the timeline, different timelines.
Sure.
And Central's kind of had the edge the last few years. But Fulton has turned some heads this year in preseason. Didn't get that win in week 1 against a really good Macon County team that won a state title a couple years ago. But it's a rivalry game. It's going to be fun in the first half. A lot of energy, a lot of emotion. We'll see who can kind of carry that over into the second half.
When you look at Fulton's week 1 matchup, were there particular plays, moments, or players who kind of stood out to you that could be that bright spot for this team?
Yeah, I mean, Jamil Smith is a kid who's getting some next level looks, and he's a great skill player. And so they just got to have different guys emerge to go and take some of that pressure off him. So there are promising pieces in place at Fulton. And again, I think Justin Long's just going to continue to make that program better.
Okay, the next one, and I think this will be a fun one, Jesse, it's Halls and Gibbs. We talked about Gibbs a moment ago. They certainly are not a team that is flying under the radar anymore. So I think I might make you pick a side. Does Gibbs extend the streak, or do the tables turn?
Halls has broken a new quarterback last week. Lincoln Wilson came over from Volunteer, and I think he had his moments of good and some moments of bad. And I said this on the show last week. Coaches always say our biggest improvement is going to be from week 1 to week 2.
Okay.
So that's why I love week 2 games. Some of these teams like, oh man, they look terrible, are going to look completely different in week 2 because they got their stuff on film. Let's correct this. Let's throw this play out that doesn't fit like we thought it would. And so they're going to be a better version of themselves. So that's why I'm eager to see what Halls looks like in week 2. Gibbs has gotten the better of this matchup in recent years, whether it's a tightly contested game or not. Gibbs is, again, a team that I think is going to crack the state rankings very, very soon. And, okay, so this game is not in our picks. This game is not in our picks later on. So I think I have Gibbs ranked higher in my 5-star prep power ranking. So I'll lean towards Gibbs.
Okay, so you picked a side. I'm happy to hear that.
I just don't want to get my pick away if it's later in the program.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. Okay, we're going to head for a quick break, but we're also going to hear first from the Gibbs head coach and Brad Turner what he has to say about his team. After that, we'll be right back.
Coach, it was a really good year for Gibbs football, and I always say this when I talk about your program, it continues to trend upward, and I wonder kind of what y'all are doing to continue that, and what's next for Gibbs?
Well, I think the thing at Gibbs is we're still a community school. We're playing Gibbs kids, and a lot of kids grow up in our middle school program. They've been hearing it. You know, it was sort of modeled that a little bit after Maryville back in the day.
Yeah.
That's sort of, you know, they grow up in Gibbs. They play at Gibbs, and I think it means something to them. Obviously, the talent, they do a really good job, our strength conditioning program. And I think the confidence at Gibbs has grown over the years where we think we can win. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the case. I mean, we've had 9 or 10 wins over the past 4 or 5 seasons, and they just believe in what we're doing.
What do you feel like is going to be the collective strength of this team this year, though?
I think it's experience. We've played a lot of young kids over the past few years, and I mean, our quarterback's going to be a junior. He started every game as a sophomore. Seth Sieber, he's finally going to be a senior. Feels like he's been at Gibbs forever, but he's had a lot of success, and he's going to be a senior. Dallas, we've got a lot of senior guys that have played a lot of football, and that's the thing we're seeing in practice right now. Is they're taking over the team, and the coaches are sort of trying to step back, let them lead, and do those things.
Seth, is he going to do track in college? Is that right?
I think so. You know, Seth's sort of a in-between size. I mean, he's good enough to go to college and play football. It's just, you know, when you start thinking about recruiting, if he was maybe 3 inches taller and maybe 25 more pounds. But who knows? I think you'll have an opportunity to do both.
Yeah.
So, you know, we encourage our guys to do a lot of sports. The guy that just won the state decathlon champion is our corner and wide receiver, Waylon Morales. The kid that come in second to the decathlon is our safety and wide receiver as well. So these guys have had success, and we had 26 kids run track this year. So.
Well, the reason I asked about Seth, and I think I tweeted this last year, every time I get y'all's stat report from after the game, it's like, Seth Sieber, 3 tackles for loss, a sack. I mean, he's always making plays, and he's always productive. And why is that?
His motor, man. His motor is just high. We always have to pull him back. You know, he got in a little trouble in the last game of the season, and he's suspended for the first game this year. But you've always got to pull him back. His motor's so high. He's really emotional when he plays, and he's confident in what he's doing.
Skilled player-wise, I know you talked about your experience at quarterback, but what will he have around him?
Well, we got our running back room. You know, Andy Hibbett's our running backs coach, and he's got 5 guys. We got to figure out how to get them on the field because there's only one running back spot in what we do. But there's 5 guys that are really, really good. So we're going to have to try to figure out some things. But our depth there and what we do at Gibbs is really encouraging, which will help keep out a quarterback a lot.
Can some of those guys split out wide?
Yeah, they can. It's just, you know, early right now we're trying to figure out a rotation and what's going to be. But these are good-sized kids. They're running backs, but you know, we can move them around to H and slot receiver. But they're going to try to be on the field somewhere. They all start on defense, so it will give us a little bit of rotation. I think our running back last year, Tucker, who's coming back, I mean, I think he had 20-something carries a game, and we put a lot on him, so he may have a little bit of help this year.
What was a point of concern with this team maybe in the spring or summer y'all wanted to address?
Well, I think the depth, but I think what we've seen in the weight room, a lot of our guys got bigger and stronger, so is it going to translate? And if it does, we will have more depth. So I think it's just the depth really at every position other than running back. You know how high school football is. You got to stay healthy. If you can't stay healthy, no matter what you got. So you got to try to maintain that over the year, and then hopefully we stay healthy and continue to build those bits.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Welcome back to the Walk-Thru, presented by Triple F. Jesse Smithy, now joined by David Thomas, junior wide receiver out at Knoxville Catholic High School. Just transferred into the area from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Tennessee is after this young man, and in week 1, he had 2 touchdown catches in the 4th quarter to help Catholic High School come back from a deficit against Riverdale and get that week 1 win. And I checked my Instagram on Saturday night. I had one of your teammates give me a little bit of problem because I'd picked y'all to lose that game.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you were going to go off in the 4th quarter for 2 touchdowns, but a 33-yarder, a 30-yarder. We'll get to all that in a minute, but welcome to Tennessee, man. It's great to meet you.
I appreciate it.
And when the news came out that you were coming to Knoxville, I think a lot of people immediately checked your bio, saw that Tennessee offer on there.
Right.
Talk about this relationship with you and Tennessee, where that's at right now.
It's been good, especially since I've been here, you know what I'm saying? It just kind of gave them like a little extra edge to recruit me a little bit harder. Coach Pope, he always does a good job keeping in touch, even when I was halfway across the country. So it's been fun. I've been up there a couple times since I've been here, so it's been good. The relationship is nice. I like it.
Take me back to your sophomore year. You're starting to put up big numbers. You're starting to get offers. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, kind of those schools that are right there near you and nearby. What was it like to kind of see your career ascend a step and start to get noticed?
It was just, for me, it was just like a testament to all the work I put in, you know what I'm saying? You know, growing up as a kid, you look at all the high school guys you play 7-on-7 with in those organizations, you're like, man, he got so many offers and he's ranked so high, and like that's just the place you want to be. And I look at myself now and I'm like, I'm almost there. Like, I just got to keep working. That's all I think about it.
When did Tennessee offer in the timeline of things?
They were my 10th one. I want to say it was in March last year. No, this year was in March. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
So, I mean, to learn about them and now to move over here, what's that experience been like for you to kind of get to know this side of the state and this side of the country?
Yeah, definitely moving over here. It was it's like kind of like unlocking a whole new side of the map. You know what I'm saying? Like for the recruiting part of it. But yeah, I mean, being halfway across the country, like Tennessee, one of those schools like kids look at and it's like, wow, like look at that program. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm over here and like I get to see it firsthand, I can compare it to Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Kansas, schools I've been to over there, and it's like now I get to kind of compare and contrast, and I'm to that point now where it's almost time to make a decision.
I know the sample size is very small in terms of what you've experienced in high school football in Tennessee, and we were talking before the show just about the differences between football and Oklahoma, because we in Tennessee, man, we see the craziness of high school football in Texas or Oklahoma, Georgia, California. Can you describe to people out there kind of what Friday night football is like in Oklahoma?
It gets packed for sure. Like you see in Texas, all like the big stadiums and stuff, and like stadiums look like college stadiums. Oklahoma's right up there with Texas, I feel like, and the competition level. I mean, you got in Tulsa with Jinx, BA, Owasso, and then you got Bixby, and like there's so many teams out there to go compete nationally like any given week. So it's definitely, I think Oklahoma football is slept on for sure.
You guys played for Riverdale, a 6A football team in Tennessee, a lot of size, a lot of guys who are going to Division I programs, SEC programs. What was that experience like going up against them? Because they were pretty big.
Yeah, they were probably one of the biggest teams they ever faced. But I mean, it's just football at the end of the day. They bleed the same as we do. You know what I'm saying? You just got to compete. You know what I'm saying? You know what you're up against, but at the end of the day, is who's going to compete harder. I think we wanted it more at the end of the day.
You had over 110 yards receiving in that football game. How did you get up to speed enough with the Catholic offense to make an impact in week 1?
It's work. You know what I'm saying? You go up there on the weekends, and being new, I've been here 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I had to get up there early and late at nights and learn the offense. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's just football. You got to make a play when the plays come. So that's all it is.
But you were telling me before we got on here that it's kind of different how your offense worked in Oklahoma as opposed to here. Can you kind of explain that a little more?
So I'm used to signals, everything being nonverbal, everything is signals coming from the press box on the headset. Here it's everything on the play card. We say everything. So it was so I used to I'd put headphones in and listen to our play calls, and I go out and run them in my backyard, walk through everything. So it was a learning curve for sure, but just got to get used to it.
Speaking of Knoxville, what did you tell your teammates back then or your friends back then? Man, I'm going to Knoxville. What was their reaction?
I mean, they understood what it was. Both my parents got jobs out here. We played Riverdale, and everybody in my hometown, everybody was tuned in. People from my family, friends, everybody was supportive. So it was nice. Their reaction, I mean, it hurt, obviously, like going into my friend group, like, guys, like, 3 days. I'm gonna get up out of here. Can y'all help me pack my house up?
Yeah.
It was painful, but you know what I'm saying. Still my guys at the end of the day.
Did you have an idea of what Knoxville was going to look like? And then no, you didn't have any
No.
kind of preconceived notion of what
No,
Knoxville
I
could be
mean,
like?
I knew it was a lot of hills, a lot of trees. That was really it. I mean, I came out here and I live in Hardin Valley, so my view is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I mean, you go into like downtown Knoxville and everything it's nice. Definitely not what I'm used to. I call it like Tulsa on steroids is what I say.
I got you. Yeah, I've been to Tulsa. I know what you mean there.
Yeah.
Have you found a favorite eating spot yet? I mean, I'll give you a free shout out right here.
My quarterback, he took me to Craven Wings yesterday.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. It was 2 days ago. They were closed yesterday. But yeah, it's good. Definitely, it's top spot I've been to so far.
Have you been able to check out Tennessee's campus, Neyland, any of that stuff yet?
Yeah, I went to their scrimmage, their fall scrimmage on Saturday last week. That was nice. The first time being in the stadium. I walked through the facilities a couple times. It's been nice so far. It's good to compare it to like the schools I've been to so far. I think it's definitely up there. It's really nice facilities.
Last couple things with you, and you're in Division II, AAA, along with the Baylors of the world, McCauley's of the world.
Right.
Have you been studying kind of what else is out there and kind of what that landscape of your division is?
Definitely. I think, and everybody knows it in Tennessee, I think we play in one of the best leagues in America. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just to get you ready for the next level. Watching film, watching scrimmage, other people, maybe you don't even play them. Like, we don't play BA this year, but you know what I'm saying, I like to watch them. This competition at the end of the day, I like to watch them.
Thursday night, you'll take on Anderson County. You're in jersey number 1, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody keep an eye out for jersey number 1 on Thursday night. David, man, appreciate it so much. Thanks
Yes,
for coming
sir.
down. Great
Thanks
to
for
finally
having me.
meet you, and I'm
Yes,
looking
sir.
forward to what you do here this season.
Yes, sir.
All right, stick around with us on the walkthrough. We got more coming up right here after the break.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Welcome back into the Walk-Thru Paige Dower alongside Jesse Smithy. You might have just missed it, but we just heard from David Thomas, who was here on set talking with Jesse Smithy about his transition here to Knoxville, being a Tennessee wide receiver target for the Volunteers. I believe he's a junior right now. Yeah, so good things from him. Go back if you missed it, and then come back to the spot where we'll be waiting for you. I love this part. We get into the mind of Jesse, which we do all here in the third and fourth. It can get a little scary. Third and fourth block, and I think there are a couple of programs, a couple of names that should certainly be on our radars this season. I think first you could talk about Seymour and Greenback. They had some really nice performances in week 1. I think when you go to them, what impressed you most about those games?
The amount of points that Seymour put up against a Gatlinburg-Pittman team that played it for a state championship last year was crazy. They absolutely routed Gatlinburg-Pittman. Now, Gatlinburg-Pittman had 3 or 4 kids transfer out, their quarterback, their running back, their top defensive player. They've also had some injuries hit their starting lineup at key spots, like legit older players. And so they had a lot of freshmen, sophomores out there. And I'm not making excuses. This is a Seymour team that Caleb Olive has done a great job of building. A lot of momentum with that program, new facility upgrades going on at Seymour. So a lot of great things happening at Seymour. Them beating Gatlinburg-Pittman was reason to celebrate, but keep an eye on that Seymour team. And then Greenback, they debuted their new turf field out there, and Richie Wilhite, the head coach, is such a fiery, emotional, passionate guy. And they had a big matchup against Tellico Plains, and they debuted that turf with a win. So always a fun night when you have a christening like that and everything goes well in your favor.
Certainly, and it also went in favor of Caden Long from Central, the quarterback there, a game that got really interesting in about the last 4 to 5 minutes of that game as they get that win over Dobbins-Bennett. What can you say about that QB?
Well, I mean, that was a legit Dobbins-Bennett team from the people up there that I've talked to that said, hey, we really need to watch DB and maybe consider them for the state rankings. And at one point, I checked my Twitter, and Central's down 29-15 in the fourth quarter, midway through the fourth quarter. I'm like, those guys up there are right. I mean, this is a good DB team. And the next thing you know, it's 29-22, and the next thing you know, it's 29-28. Central's going for 2. You can never count out Caden Long. That's something that we all learned last year, and that Dobbins Bennett learned on Friday night of week 1. He got them 2 touchdowns when they needed it most in the latter half of that fourth quarter. They decided to go for 2. Caden Long can run it. He ran for over 1,000 yards last year, and he ran it in for 2. And just cardiac cats, they're back, as they said on Twitter.
Okay, I love that. Another thing that might have flown under the radar is TKA, the Kings Academy, canceled the 25 season, back in full strength for the 26 season. Couldn't have written it better. They win their first game. How special was it to see this rebuild kind of come and have immediate relief with a win last week?
You wouldn't expect it, right?
Yeah.
You had to cancel a season because you didn't have enough players, and then you look and see, okay, they got enough now, but it's probably not going to go well in week 1. But they said, no, we're going to go ahead and win. They went on the road and did it, which is the more impressive thing. So shout out to TKA and their coaching staff and their players for just, hey, short-term memory. We're going to leave all that behind. We're a different team, and they go ahead and got the win. So that was cool to see.
And this guy, I think we could say he does it all. Over at Scott High is Carter Slavin. He's getting rushing touchdowns. I think it was a hat trick. He got 1 or 2 receiving touchdowns, 100-some receiving yards. I mean, what can you say about him?
Well, I wanted to give Carter a shout out, and hopefully they're watching up there in Scott. And because when we do our Players of the Week or we do our standouts on Friday nights or Saturdays, people see it and they go, oh, we meant to send you this, and it's too late. Well, we got Carter's stuff too late. So 110 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 118 receiving yards, and a touchdown. One. So shout out Carter Slavin.
Yeah, literally does it all for them. And then I think we're going to get to the best part of the show right now, and it's actually using a coupon code SAVE40 for a subscription with 5-star preps to stay in the know with everything that's going on, and again, really get in the mind of Jesse.
Yeah, we're not going to leave that coupon code up for too much longer, so go ahead and take advantage of it. Save 40, get 40% off a year subscription. That's a lot of savings.
It is.
And go ahead and do it. Your first payment month or year, you're getting 40% off. So we're going to keep that coupon going just for a little bit longer, but great time of the year to sign up. We have so much content we're pumping.
We have photo galleries, highlight reels, your picks, previews, recaps. It's amazing. The next part is we can get into our picks for week 2. We're going to do a little rapid fire. Right. So we obviously didn't do one for the Gibbs game, but of course you took Gibbs in that one. So that was a bit of a preview for what's to come. We have Sevier County at Jefferson County. Who are you taking?
Yeah, Jefferson County is really impressive in week 1, and I thought it was going to be one of those teams that rushes for 250, 300 yards, but they actually threw for over 225, 250 yards. That's a good sign for a Jefferson County program who kind of makes its name as a running football team. So they got a really good running back up there in Donovan Jackson, so a complete football team maybe that Spencer Riley has. It's going to be a difficult test for them, though. I'm taking Sevier County in this football game. But again, I want to see that Sevier County run game pop in this game Friday night.
Yeah, certainly. The next one is CAK at Heritage.
CAK put up 57 points. Heritage put up 63 points.
Another track meet.
That scoreboard better just absolutely malfunction because there's touchdowns. 2 great quarterbacks in this one. One a little older than the other, but it should be a fun matchup. This is a coin flip game for me, just because I really liked what I saw out of both programs in week 1. When I get into a coin flip situation, I'm going to take the home team.
Fair.
I'm going to take Heritage Mountaineers to get this win, but it better be just
another 100-point total game that might see this in week 2. The other one, which we talked about earlier in the show, and you had a lot to say about the matchup, it's Loudon-Lenoir City. It's been in favor of one team, maybe a little bit longer than the other, but you love this rivalry. Who are you going here?
I think at this point I'm going to go with Loudon.
Okay.
They've won in recent years.
Yeah, 7 straight,
and
I think.
Much like Fulton and Central, you got 2 programs that are in different parts of their timelines. Rusty Bradley is building, putting in a new offense with a quarterback who barely threw the ball last year. Now he's throwing 30, 40, 50 times a game. And when you're growing like that, there might be mistakes. And this is a really good Loudon football team. Quarterback's name is Briar Udi, and I love that name. He threw 2 touchdowns, ran for 2 more. Don Underwood transferred from Concord. He's a great wide receiver. They got a lot of good things going on at Loudon. I like Loudon to win that football game.
Yeah, I got a couple nice names going that way too. How about Clinton at Oak Ridge? We talked about injuries riddling Oak Ridge at the moment. We'll see what happens as the week progresses. As it stands now, who are you taking kind of having that
Look, I mean, Mason Eckerson is a veteran quarterback in this area. He's the starting quarterback at Clinton, had an unbelievable game in week 1 against Heritage, over 300 yards passing. He is a great athlete. He can get out, and he can make some plays that are really going to put a lot of pressure on Oak Ridge's defense. And when you kind of juxtaposition his experience against a new quarterback at Oak Ridge, you kind of lean Clinton, but historically, Oak Ridge wins this football game. I think they feed DeMillion Porter 30 times, 40 times in this football game. Again, they have a new offensive line out at Oak Ridge. We'll see what kind of adjustments they can make in the week 2. History tells me Oak Ridge. I'm going to side with history, but Clinton has players in this game that can make it very, very interesting.
The next matchup is Fulton at Central. We've talked about Fulton, not on the same timeline, had bright spots. Might seem like an obvious pick, but what would be your reasoning?
Yeah, the Battle of Broadway is very special. It's a meaningful football game up there, and so it's going to be an emotional night. It's going to be a heated rivalry there in the first half. Central, even though they graduated Javison Badgett, a 1,000-yard receiver, and Torrin McAfee, who was right there at 1,000 yards, they still have dudes at wide receiver that Caden Long can throw vertically to 40, 50 yards down the field. When you can have guys like that can stretch a defense, and then you have the legs of Caden Long to produce in the run game, that's a lot to handle. So give me Central to win that matchup, but I'm interested to see if Fulton kind of closes the gap a little bit from what they did last year.
And don't let us just talk about it. Let us know what you think about Jesse's picks, where he's maybe wrong and maybe where he's right. Let us know. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends so you can stay all in the know with Tennessee high school football. We'll be back later this week for game day coverage, and then this time next week for Walk-Thru Week 3. We'll see you all then.
Thanks for watching the Walk-Thru, powered by Triple F Training. Join us each week as Jesse and Paige break down this season's biggest games. This has been a presentation by 5 Star Preps.